Well, for one thing, I will say that a collapse that big most likely has to come from the U.S. because the U.S. currency is still technically anyway the world reserve currency. So it is indeed used in the lion's share of the transactions, even though that's been declining. But I think that black swan event has to impact the U.S. Then, it depends on who wins, right? If we just sit back and accept everything that they tell us, the people that got us into this circumstance remain in power, and they have even more control over your life than they do right now, which is pretty substantial. And particularly where the money is concerned, because as you so rightly pointed out, we are going from good money, private money, which is gold held in your possession that runs no political risk, and then the fiat money, which I don't have there, but in bill form, you can still take it out of your system. They're controlling the rate and speed of inflation through interest rates, but you still have a level of privacy with the cash. Once that's gone and you're just in a CBDC, then they can determine what its value is directly, not indirectly, which is currently what happens. They can determine where you can spend it, what you can spend it on, how much of it you get, how much of it you don't get, and if they block you from it, if you do something that goes against what they believe. There's way too much that's happening out in the world as far as, we can see it. Those people that are no longer on the internet or on YouTube because they say something that somebody doesn't like, and then it's labeled as misinformation. Well, what if the information that we're receiving from the powers that be is actually the misinformation? What if? You think that's a possibility? You think they might have an agenda? Do you think the people that would then be in charge would not maybe also have an agenda to take over more power? Or we can come together and we can say no by refusing to use it. We vote with our purse. That's how we vote at this point. The coronavirus, when it came out, was a black swan event that nobody really saw that would be something that would take down the global economy. And it certainly has. So I can't tell you what it's going to be, because if I could, then there would be others that were anticipating it. But you never let a good crisis go to waste. That is the theory, and that's what they use. But the reason why they need that is because they need to shift us into a new system. And I think everybody has been, not everybody, but most people have been scared by the Cerveza incident into, they've been scared for a really long time. So it's been made pretty clear that it is the White House that is trying to determine everything, and that it is not about health. It's about control. I don't know. What would make that a black swan event would be for the central banks to print even more than they've been printing and have it still implode, have the stock markets implode, real estate markets implode, have interest rates explode. That's the piece that would be a black swan event. Right? Is that the markets would, period, not react to it. Because we are, without a doubt in my mind, and I think I might have even said this, I don't know if I said this here or not, but we have been and are in the melt up phase of the markets, where it really doesn't matter what the fundamentals don't matter, the truth doesn't matter. Nothing really matters except to push that price up. And we've already seen since they started in 2008, it's taking more and more and more to get less and less results. But heck, the S&P has made their 52 times high in 2022 or 2021 this year. 52 times they've made a new high. I think, I can't remember how far back you have to go to see that. Did they say that was in the late 70s or early 80s in order to see that same kind of behavior? Well, why wouldn't it make new highs? Here's free money. What are you going to spend it on? Spend it on stocks, spend it on real estate, spend it on bonds, spend it on all of these fiat money products that are intangible, get people sucked in. You know, that's the other thing. The general public and the younger public has been sucked in to these markets. It reminds me of the Big Six in Las Vegas, where you put $1 down and you spin a wheel, and if it lands on your number, you make 35 or 32 times your money or something like that. Nothing matters but whether or not that hits. But as we've seen over and over and over and over again, it does not matter how many dollars or bolivars or yuan or any other fiat currency that you have. What matters is what you can convert it in. And they are using forward guidance and nominal confusion and perception management to huge degrees to get people to go in that direction. But it's always when the general public that gets sucked into these markets that who are not too big to fail, when that punch bowl is either taken away or, to what we were saying, you know, there is a black swan event that overwhelms the printing ability of the central banks. Because what are you going to do? Go to minus 100%? If everything that you have is in fiat money products, you know, you've got a 401k, you've got a pension plan, you've got that kind of stuff that you can't hold in physical gold. What you can do is you can diversify your portfolio so that when that goes away, because I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to say if, because I would be denying thousands of years of history. But when that goes away, this goes up in terms of fiat and balances it out. So I'd say create balance. Look at, like I know when I bought this property in 2010, where I personally felt the most vulnerable was in security in my back door.